Is there a meeting scheduled for next month?
There will be a meeting scheduled for next month, most definitely. In fact, next month is probably more important because I think we're going to have much more pertinent information about some issues that are coming up here. This was just, we always need to have an organizational meeting first, so I was hoping to get that matter out of the way, but we can certainly do that next month. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think we're on for the scheduled date's the 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right. Tax day. But
not anymore. Not anymore.
Oh, that's right. Did they move it back? I mean, I saw last night. Today
May 17th. Yeah.
All right. Well,
You're live, Dan, and the chat is working, so you're good.
all right. Fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a long time since we've seen everyone, but I think we're going to not have a quorum. So Jennifer, you call the roll, and if we don't have a quorum, then I'll give a quick update to everyone, okay?
Mac Elliott is absent. Bob Harrison is absent. Mark Joseph?
Present via Zoom. I'm in New Buffalo.
Marlene Kramer is absent. Milt Richter is absent. Don Ryman?
Here.
And Don, you're coming to us from Buchanan via Zoom, is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Great.
Beautiful downtown Buchanan.
Manny Walgram is absent. Mamie Yarbrough is absent. Rob Cleveland?
Hello, I'm present via Zoom, and I think I'm driving through Van Buren County.
Arthur Havlicek?
Present via Zoom in the city of St. Joseph.
Todd Gustafson?
I am present and I am in the state of Michigan.
Dana Canibus is absent, and Jeff is also absent, correct? Yep.
And we also have joining us Kelly, it's Ewald, right? That's how you pronounce your last name, right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
Kelly is the new community development director for the Village of Berrien Springs, and asked if she could be present in these meetings, and the more the merrier. So we're happy to have her here.
Thank you.
And she's got a Sparty shirt on. You can't beat that, right? Go green.
Go white.
Yeah,
It's going to be a late night tonight.
My wife would be happy with that, but
All right, Dan, we have 5 present. 2 of them are voting members, 9 absent.
okay. So we do not have a quorum for the meeting. That's okay. We didn't really have much to do other than this was just kind of a get everyone back together again. Let me first kind of explain again. We have a combination of voting and non-voting members on this board. Our economic development partners in the county have ex officio non-voting seats on this board. And then the voting portion of it is comprised of a combination of commissioners and citizen representatives. We will meet in April, at which point we'll have to elect officers in our basic organizational meeting. And there are a couple issues that are coming up here that we think would be good for the EDC to be involved in. The first of which is that the county, along with most municipalities and all municipalities in the area, is in line to receive a considerable amount of federal funding through the recently passed American Rescue Plan Act. What we, at the staff level, what we're discussing with the commissioners is using a portion of that funding for direct business assistance, particularly those businesses that have been hardest hit by the pandemic because of state mandated closures or reductions in capacity that have occurred over the last year. Arthur, Todd, Rob, and I have met privately to discuss what a program like that could look like, what the eligibility requirements would be, and what the funding levels would be, and then also what the administration of the program, how that would be structured, and who would be doing what. It's going to be definitely a partnership effort to try to make it work because it can be complicated. We did talk to the board of commissioners briefly this morning about that. I believe there's support to do something of this nature, but we're still, of course, waiting for Treasury guidance to determine exactly what the restrictions on the use of this money will be. And we should have a clear idea of that by the time we convene in the April meeting. The other thing that we would like the EDC to be involved in is the county is in the process of updating its emergency management plan or its hazard mitigation plan. What we noticed throughout this pandemic is that while we think we did a pretty good job of the emergency response, in March, April, May, the economic recovery was kind of improvised on the fly, basically amongst all of our partners. So the sheriff's staff that runs the Emergency Operations Center has decided to update our plan to include an economic or disaster recovery component to it. And that would include things like how are we working with our economic development partners and nonprofit organizations to ensure that there is recovery money flowing into businesses that have been harmed by an emergency, whether it be a tornado or a flood or even a pandemic. How are we doing that? How can we make it more efficient? Who can participate and help kind of carry some weight in that regard? And additionally, we know that throughout this pandemic, we've had to rely on the private sector a lot to help with our own response. You can think about the provisioning of PPE and some of the emergency response materials that we've needed, all of which comes from the private sector. And we would like to have a component in our response plan that is a little more streamlined so that we're not improvising it by, working the phones at 10 o'clock at night to find a manufacturer that can make face shields and things like that. So there needs to be a better process in place so that if and when the next local or regional emergency hits, we have a better way of working with the private sector and the business community to help respond to our needs and also respond to their needs. So those are the two things that are coming up. I mean, they're both going to be pretty heavy lifts to make this stuff work correctly, but we expect that the EDC, this is a good forum for open discussions about these two different subjects. And I'm hoping to get both those things kicked off at the April meeting. Okay. Guys, does that summarize basically where we are, do you think?
Sounds good, Dan.
Okay. And Don, Mark, you got any questions? I mean, we really can't have much deliberation without a quorum, but if there are any procedural questions, I'm happy to answer those.
On nonprofits, I would reduce the quorum. The idea is, if you have a low quorum, you have enough quorum to have a meeting, and people are real interested will come because they don't want 3 people maybe or 2 people out of 10 setting policy and doing things.
Well, that's a good point, Don. We'll talk internally about maybe amending our articles of incorporation to add greater voting responsibility on our partners' behalf, because, I certainly, if they're helping to make the decisions, they should probably have a vote on it anyway. So, but I'll talk to corporate counsel about looking at the articles and see. Okay.
Well, the world must go on. Economic development must go on. If these people are not interested in it for their area or whatever, well, the rest of us will do it.
Understood. Okay, well, I sorry to draw you guys out of your general work days for this, but thanks for at least showing up, and in April I'm certain we'll have a full quorum and we'll get some work done at the April meeting. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Rob's on the phone here, is he not?
Yeah.
Rob, is there any more information about this rail distribution center, the CSX thing that's up in the township here north of me? Is there anything going on with that?
So nothing that I'm aware of. I can reach out to the CSX economic development guy that I know and ask.
Okay.
But I've not heard anything additional.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in April, and we'll get materials out to you a week in advance of that. Okay.
Are we going to Zoom in April, or may we be all together in April?
If everything goes well, we'll be in person. There was discussions today about that very issue. I think right now we're planning on Zoom, but if circumstances change and we're capable of meeting in person, we will certainly meet in person. It's a lot easier, I think.
You've talked to our new economic development director, I believe, in Buchanan.
I have, yep.
Yeah.
Had a couple conversations with them, yes.
Well, we have the Electrovoice plant here, which is a CERCLA thing, which that law mostly benefited lawyers. But I talked to him. I said, what we need to do is get a top-notch environmental specialist who knows how to get things out of circular. Or what we ought to do. I don't think that has been done. It's not, it would have been, it would have been taken care of if you could have done the brownfield, but we ought to do something about that plan.
Well, Don, I will go down there and meet with them and see if there's anything we can do to help with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone.
See you next month.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.